of those futures will take us toward a centralized form of government. It's more or less like a hive. A certain cohort of elites are going to be in charge, and everybody else is going to be, they'll be the overclass, and everybody else will be a kind of underclass, which serves them and does pretty much what they're told. On the other hand, we can go in another direction, which is to distribute responsibility and decision-making power over everybody. If we want to distribute responsibility, then the first thing that we need is a sound understanding of human nature and the nature of reality. Velocities are defined on each other, but on higher levels, truth has to be defined with more and more of what is called invariance, until finally, on the very highest level, truth is absolutely invariant or absolute.
And
in Einstein's God, there is this idea of a God of nature, and I believe in that God too. The fact that God has both of these aspects is how he is defined in the CTN. In a sense, this is the most important thing because it's the highest identity on a lattice. It's the highest attribute, the attribute that distributes over all of reality. This is because truth and reality are really synonymous. I'm somewhat suspicious about 9/11, especially insofar as it turned out to be the pretext for a lot of political moves that were made soon thereafter. For example, the Patriot Act. Yes, there has to be an ideological revolution. People have to experience a revolution in understanding. This can all be done through a mass awakening. I think the way to solve this problem is to distribute the proper knowledge. Once people possess this knowledge, for them to take charge of their own destiny and throw off these corporate masters and essentially these frauds who are claiming to, or who are pretending to be able to chart our destiny without knowing the first thing about what they're doing, which is actually what's occurring right now. The monetary economy right now is not necessarily rational except for the people who control it. You've got a number of central bankers who have charge of the money supply, and they basically determine what money gets used for simply because they have so darn much of it. This degree of centralization over the money supply allows them to take the standardized utility that money should be and actually usurp it and displace it and insert their own utility instead. They're really very secretive about it. They're highly competitive, and they don't like to share their information or anything about where they're going. But this idea that money is standardized utility, in a sense, makes it the property of all mankind, because we all participate in that utility. You can't let any tiny little handful of people control it unless they can establish right up front, by telling the truth to everybody, that they have the knowledge really to arbit what utility is and what is useful to the human race and where the human race should be going. So yes, to that extent, we're going to need a change. It's going to have to be a relatively big change, and I think that people are wising up to this situation, and that's where we're headed.